If you're having trouble getting to squat depth, you might be thinking to yourself, you know, maybe I'm too tight. Maybe I need to mobilize. Ugh. I'm here to tell you that probably not. I'm here to tell you that probably what's wrong is your trunk, and I'm gonna tell you how to fix it and get to depth easier.
Let's get down to business.
You have to spin it more.
To defeat the Huns.
First, let's take a second and talk about what poor bracing is doing to your squat. When you brace like this, with a lot of low back extension and your hips kicked out behind you like that, you're gonna get to the bottom and feel like you've run out of room, like you can't possibly go any deeper. And any more depth you do get is probably just gonna be from your knees shooting forwards, again, making it not look like you're at depth. In order to get to good depth, usually we have to go back to a more neutral looking position, which is gonna feel like absolute crap if you've started super extended. What needs to change though is not the position in the bottom, but it's the position throughout the first half of the squat. Proper bracing in our squat is gonna look like more of a neutral range back position. We're cueing the lifter to kind of pull the ribs down, tuck the pelvis in maybe a little bit. More on that later. But we're trying to achieve something that looks more similar to the bottom position. Even if you brace properly, there's going to be a slight change in your low back and pelvis position to get depth, but we're working to try to minimize that change so that you don't feel as much of a big loss of position and you can be more consistent with your torso and your bracing throughout the entirety of the squat. Okay, so now that you know why you might want to brace like this, let's talk about how you learn to do that and how to integrate it into your squat. I'm gonna walk you through it in 3 parts. Number 1, just learning how to do it completely independent of any other movement. So the cues that I normally walk lifters through are number 1, to tuck your ribs down into your abs or onto your abs. Number 2, to take your usually lordotic lumbar position, this little bit of extension here, tuck that in. All right, so those are the 2 things. Ribs down, pelvis in. All right, now we've got our brace. We should feel a lot of tension and a lot of pressure in the abs and through the obliques, and then we'll breathe into that if we're wearing a belt. Braced, okay? Now the next part is taking that brace and incorporating it into movement. In this case, into the hinge. That's where my friend here comes into play. Now, I don't have a dowel, so I just went and grabbed this mop. What you want to do with the mop handle, this is a Libman, by the way, not a lot of people know that, is essentially, if your shoulders are better than mine, it'll be a little more comfortable, easy to do, but you want to try to find 3 points of contact, right? Head, upper back, and mid back, low back, butt crack. So once you, a more flexible and capable person, have that on your back, you're gonna make that same brace position and you're gonna hinge. Now the reason that the external cue of having the broom handle, mop handle, dowel, whatever, is helpful is because if it comes off of your back, you know that you've broken your position. If when you go to hinge, you start doing this, it's gonna come off your mid back. If you start doing this or doing this, it's gonna come off in different places. So those 3 points of contact and having that consistent feedback of something touching your back is gonna help make sure you don't lose your brace as you go to hinge. So now we've got 2 of the 3 parts. We've got our brace, we've built it, and we know how to hinge. How do we take that into the squat? Well, all right. So we've got the bar on our backs. Now we're gonna recreate that hinge position. Normally, a lot of people are squatting like this, right? Chest out, super upright, super extended. We're gonna feel super stuck. But with our brand new bracing trick, we're gonna pull the ribs down, tuck the hips in, then we're gonna hinge to start. And that's why you see a lot of people do what's called the pre-hinge. It's a semi-popular thing that you'll see sometimes in powerlifting. People will lock their brace in, hinge, and then start their squat. Because that allows them to take their time with arguably the most important and one of the more challenging aspects of starting the squat, which is maintaining the brace while we initiate the squat, right? So we're gonna brace, ribs down, hips in, boom, and then there we go, right? Full depth, comfortably, no knee sleeves, no weight on the bar, which for an immobile guy like me is a lot. Not once did I have to mobilize to do that. This is gonna let you get better depth. If you're getting better depth, your positioning is more consistent, you're gonna squat more, you're gonna squat more comfortably. You're probably gonna maybe get around some discomfort in your hip flexors or your low back or your upper back because you're gonna be in a position that's a little bit more natural for you to get to good depth. Relying on that pre-hinge every time can kind of lead to more issues. So over time, you wanna transition from the really distinct two-step squat where you pre-hinge and then squat into just being able to walk the bar out with something similar to your starting torso angle and then go into the squat, right? You want to be able to make that a bit of a smoother transition because anytime you lock out a squat, if you're doing the pre-hinge, you're going to lock out a squat, have to hinge and then do it, and you're just going to be doing a whole lot of weird little movements that maybe are unnecessary. It also can maybe mess with your balance a little bit if you hinge too far forward or hinge too far back. But again, practice it and that should fix things up for you. All right, so now let's look at a side-by-side. Lifter on the left here, squatting with a traditionally overextended position, their butt's kicking out, they're trying to reach their chest up, they're scared of leaning over. That's the lifter who's getting stuck before depth or is getting to depth with a whole bunch of change in position and it feels terrible. The lifter on the right here is utilizing what I would consider a more proper brace, a more neutral range position in the low back and hips, and is smoothly and seamlessly getting to depth, squatting comfortably, seeing minimal change in their position into and out of the hole. If you yourself are struggling with squat depth or any aspect of your lifting journey, you can get help from myself and the other phenomenal Calgary Barbell coaches by signing up for the Calgary Barbell app. Use code DEPTH10. Check the link in the description below. We do weekly form checks in there. You'll get access to all of our programs, and myself or one of the other coaches can individually give you video advice on how to fix it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. Comment below, let us know, are you struggling with squat depth? Have you struggled with it? Have you fixed it? How'd you fix it? In the comments below, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one.